Hi students, welcome to CEOA Web TV. Today we are going to see about the second chapter, which is the reproductive health. So what is reproductive health? The normal terminology, it means that is having a healthy, normal, functional reproductive system. But the World Health Organization has given a different definition. That is, it talks about well-being of all aspects of reproductive system. All aspects of reproductive system, which means physical, emotional, social, and behavior. So, if a society is having normal, functional, performing reproductive organ, and if it is able to interact in a normal, social manner with normal behavior pertaining to reproductive system, that society is said to be a reproductively healthy society. Reproductively healthy society. Now let us see what are the problems and strategies in reproductive health. India, of course, is the first country in the world to initiate a program called as family planning. In the year 1951, with a goal to achieve national reproductive health. And this program was periodically assessed and implementations were made to make it better. At present, now we have RCH, which is an advanced form of this family planning, including more areas of reproductive health. So this reproductive child health care, the main task is to make the society reproductively healthy. And how it is done is by creating awareness about reproduction related problems and providing facilities and support for those who are having reproductive problems. Having seen what are the goals of reproductive health, let us see what are the ways to achieve that. See, the government through audio, visual media and through print media and with government facilities as well as with the help of non-governmental organizations, it is trying to create awareness about the reproduction related concerns. Apart from this, parents, relatives and close friends, they also have a major role in disseminating the correct information. The introduction of sex education in school levels will give the right information to the adolescents, and it will prevent the adolescents believing in myths. So the knowledge about sex related problems sex organs, sexually transmitted diseases, and the practice of having safer sexes will make the adolescent to avoid from unwanted things, and it will help to create a healthy life among adolescents. Apart from this, focus on the marriageable age group. Marriageable age group, that is the reproductively active age group, and creating awareness about the different contraceptive methods, maternal care, neonatal care, and the advantage of having small families, and the importance of sexual equality. Sexual equality, it will make the society which is conscious about reproductive health. So that way we will get a society which is conscious about reproductive health, which will have a small family, healthy family. Next is how to create a society which is responsible about reproductive health. Creating awareness in the society about sexual abuse, sex-related crimes, the threat of not maintaining male and female ratio, will make the society a responsible society towards reproductive health. And to do all these things, what is needed is, we need infrastructure, we need professionals, and we need materials. So with this, we will be able to create awareness. We can give facilities and support for those who are having reproductive related health concerns like delivery, abortion, STDs, and infertility. Apart from this, these strategies need to be analyzed time to time to cope up with the changes in the environment. Two things made by the government needs to be appreciated or worth mentioning here. One is the ban on amniocentesis for the detection of sex of the baby, that has been banned. And the second is mass immunization. So these two things, they have helped a lot to achieve the reproductive health. The next is about the researches. Research is also being encouraged to develop the existing technology or strategies or methods and to invent new technologies or strategies. You may be aware that the CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute in Lucknow, they have come up with a novel contraceptive pill which could be taken once in a week. So this is one of the new advancement in the research happening towards reproductive health. And what is the current status, whether the society is reproductively healthy? Let us see some indications which shows that the society, the Indian society is in a reproductively healthy state. First is, nowadays there are more number of medically assisted deliveries. Medically assisted deliveries. The rate of maternal mortality, it has come down. Maternal mortality rate has come down. As well as infant mortality rate, that also has come down. And there is a very good awareness about sex related problems, and there is early detection of STDs and treatment. Moreover, nowadays there is a lot of awareness about treating infertility. So all these things indicate that our Indian society is in a reproductively healthy state. So before we enter into population related aspects like population explosion, let us see few terminologies which will give us a basic understanding. First, what is population? Population is the total number of individuals in a particular space at a particular time. This is called as population. The next terminology is demography. Demography is a scientific study of population. Demography is the scientific study of population. And in this demography, there are some three phenomena. They are population size, population composition, and population distribution in space. So, in demography there are three phenomena. One is the population size, which talks about the number of individuals in a particular population, and second is the composition. Composition includes whether how many male, how many female, how many pre-reproductive, how many post-reproductive individuals are present in that. And the third one is the distribution, how this population is distributed within the space. And this phenomena is influenced by 5 processes. The processes which influence these 3 phenomena are: first is fertility, and then mortality, then marriage, and then migration, and then social mobility. So these 5 processes it influence the 3 phenomena of this demographic. Next, let us see what is population explosion. Population explosion, it means a rapid increase in the number of individuals within a short span of time. So population explosion means a rapid increase in the number of individuals within a short span of time. Now let us see the population growth. So population growth, it is affected by fertility or the birth rate, or we can say the natality. And second is mortality, and third is migration, and fourth is immigration. So these four factors, they affect the population growth in a particular area. Next is the population density. It is the number of individuals in a particular space. So it is denoted by the formula D is equal to N by S. That D denotes the density, N is the number of individuals, and S is the space which is measured in area. And next is the growth type, growth rate. The population growth rate may be in exponential, or it may be in logistic. If the population growth is exponential, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, like that, it is exponential. In that case, the curve, it gives a J shape. Whereas in logistic, it gives a sigmoid curve, S-shaped curve. And the equation for this logistic growth rate is d n by dt is equal to r k minus n by k. Here n is the density, r is the intrinsic increase, and K is the carrying capacity. Next is census. Census is the official counting of the population, and based on this counting, data will be prepared, like how many people are there in a particular age group, how many are educated, how many are married. So such kind of data will be derived from this census. In India, the first census was made on 1872, and from then for every 10 years the census is being done. The Census Act was passed in 1948. The last census happened is in 2011. If you see in India, the most populated state is UP. This is the most populated state. And the least populated state is Sikkim. And in area wise, the largest state is Rajasthan, and the smallest state is Goa. Now let us see a very important theory which is called as the Malthus theory on human population. So T.R. Malthus is a British economist. He proposed this theory. What he said is the human population will increase exponentially. That is, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, like this. But the sources for this population, that is the resources for this population, it grows only in alchemic manner. which means 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, like this. So after a period of time, until this, the population will be increasing rapidly. After a period of time, there will be an imbalance. And because of this imbalance, as the imbalance grows and reaches a value, it will lead to catastrophes. There will be hunger, pandemic, war, flood. So what happens because of those catastrophes, the population number will be reduced and it will be brought to the normal level. So Malthus says that these catastrophes, they control the population of humans. Next we'll see about the population growth rate. The population growth rate is indicated by annual average growth and doubling time. So the population growth is indicated by annual average growth and doubling time. And the population growth depends on the birth rate, which is also called as natality. Second, the mortality rate, mortality which means the death rate. And third, migration. And fourth, age and sex ratio. Age and sex ratio. So these are the factors which affects the population growth. One is birth rate, death rate, migration and age and sex ratio. First we will see about the natality. Natality or fertility or birth rate. So what is the birth rate? Birth rate is how many number of babies are born per 1,000 individuals in a year. How many number of babies are born per 1,000 number of individuals in a year? That is called as the birth rate. And there is this birth rate, it differs from population growth because birth rate can never be negative. It cannot be in negative. Whereas your population growth rate, it can be in minus, it can be in negative. The next terminology we are going to see is total fertility rate. Total fertility rate or TFR, which means this is the number of children a woman can give birth in her lifetime. In her lifetime, a woman, on an average, how many children she is going to deliver? That is called as the total fertility rate or TFR. And this is high in developing countries. This number is high in developing countries, whereas it is low in developed countries. And it changes with the economic condition of the society as well as the aspirations of the family. Next is RL. RL is a replacement level. The definition for this, it is the number of children a couple has to give birth to replace their numbers. It is the number of children a couple has to give birth to replace themselves. Say for example, a couple means a husband and a wife. So the number is 2. If they need to be replaced, minimum they have to give birth to 2 individuals. 2 children they have to give birth. That is a must to replace themselves. And if you see this value for underdeveloped countries, it is 2.7, and for developed countries it is 2.1. Next, we will see about the mortality rate. Mortality, it is the number of deaths per 1,000 individuals in a year. If there are 1,000 individuals in a population, how many of them die in a particular year? That is called as death rate or mortality. And we have already seen the definition for demography. It is the scientific study of population. And demographers, they use crude birth rate and crude death rate. What is this crude birth rate and death rate? Crude birth rate means how many number of babies are born per 1,000 number of individuals at the middle of the year. Say for example, July 7 they will calculate. July 7 they will calculate how many babies are born per 1,000 people. Okay, that they give it as crude birth rate. And for death rate, say how many number of deaths have occurred per 1,000 individuals at the mid of the year. Next, there is a term called as demographic transition. This is a situation where the birth rate is equal to the death rate. This situation is called as demographic transition, and it is observed in developed countries. It is observed in developed countries. Next, we will see about migration. Migration, which means that it is a movement of individuals of a population. It may be from one population to another population, or from another population they may come back into this population. So let us see what it is. It is of two types. One is immigration, and the other one is immigration. In immigration, individuals, they come into the population from some other population. Say if it is a population A, from population B, individuals will come into this population A. So this is called as immigration. And immigration is from one population, individuals goes out to another population. So from A, we are bothered about this population. From population A, they go to another population. So here the number goes down. And there is a term called as net immigration. Net immigration, it is the difference between immigration and immigration. Having seen birth rate, mortality rate and migration, now let us see the last one, which is age and sex ratio. Bodenheimer, he classified the individuals of a population into three types. One is pre-reproductive population, reproductive population, and third, the post-reproductive population. So what he said is, these two, pre-reproductive and post-reproductive, they are very much vulnerable for disease, and these two will increase the mortality rate. Whereas the reproductive population, it contributes to the increase in the population number, growth of the population. So if the population is having more number of individuals who are in the reproductive population, then likely the population will increase in size. And if the population is having going to have more number of female individuals, that is in the age of 15 to 45, that is in the reproductive phase, then again the chances of the population growing in size is more. Having seen the terminologies related to population, now let's see about population explosion. So population explosion, it is a rapid increase in population within a short span of time. So if you see the world scenario, in the last century, there were so many developments in all the fields, like industries, medicines, in all the fields, agriculture, everywhere, transport. So in all the fields there were developments that lead to a improved living style, living condition, improved living conditions. Because of this improved lifestyle, what happens? People were able to spend on health. So because of this, there is a drastic increase in the population. If you see the world scenario, in 1900, the world population was 2 millions. Whereas by 2000, it became 6 millions. This is the world scenario. If you see the Indian scenario, by our independence, the population was 350 million. In India, by independence it was 350 million, and by 2000 May, we were 1000 million, which means if all the people in the world they stand in a circle, every sixth person will be an Indian. So what are the reasons for this population explosion? One is because of the development in health, in living style, the MMR it has come down. That is maternal mortality rate has come down. IMR has come down. That is infant mortality rate has come down, and the general lifespan of the individual has increased. Moreover, the population who are in the reproducible age, their number is also more. Though by RCH, that is reproductive and child health care, we are able to control the population growth by a marginal level. It was 1.7%. Now 1.7 is a growth rate. So which means that for every 1000 individuals in a year, 17 babies are born. So if this growth rate continues, in another 33 years, our population will double. So if this is going to happen, that is population explosion, and there will be severe competition for even the basic requirements like food, shelter, water, for everything. So just recall what Malthus theory states, that the population, it grows in exponential ratio in rate, whereas the resources, it grows only in arithmetic rate. So when the imbalance reaches, it will lead to catastrophe. So the governments are forced to take steps to limit this population growth. Let us see what are the steps government have taken to bring down the population explosion. The first thing is motivating for small families by using contraceptives. So the government is motivating for having small families by promoting the use of contraceptives. And apart from that, you might have heard about the slogans, we too, ours too. This was a famous slogan, which means that each couple can have 2 kids. And then it became one children norm. One child now, that is, a couple can have just 1 children. And many incentives are given to those families which are having a small size. Say for example, there are incentives like couples who are having a single female child. Even in NEET exam, there are some concessions being given for a candidate who is appearing if she is a single female child to her parents. So such kind of incentives are being given. Apart from that, the marriage age was raised for girls to 18 and for boys 21. So next we will see about the birth control. Birth control refers to the steps taken to reduce the formation of babies. So it will happen in any one of the three steps. That is, it may involve the blockage of transport of sperm and reaching the ovum, or it may operate in preventing the ovulation, or it may prevent implantation, So birth control, it may happen, that is, it is done by affecting any of these three steps. That is, by stopping the transport of the sperm and for the sperm to reach the ovum. Second, it may prevent the ovulation, and third, it may prevent the implantation. And birth controls or contraceptives, it is mainly divided into two types. One is temporary or permanent. So temporary means it is made only for a period of time. After that, it could be reversed. Whereas permanent, once it is done, the reversibility is not possible. So first, let us see what are the temporary contraceptive methods. First is the natural method. Next, barrier methods. Third, intrauterine devices. And fourth, hormonal. Fifth, oral. Sixth, subcutaneous. Now let us see what is the ideal contraceptive. How an ideal contraceptive should be? It should be user friendly so that people can use it on their own, user friendly. It should be easily available. And it should be reversible so that when the couple wants to have a kid, they can remove this and they can get conceived. And they should not have side effects. There should not be any side effects by using the contraceptive. And then it should not reduce the sex drive. It should not reduce the sex drive. These are the essential qualities to be present for that contraceptive to be considered as an ideal contraceptive. So now let us see the natural contraceptive methods. In this there are three methods. One is abstinence. Second is lacto-aminoreal contraception. Third is withdrawal method, or it is also called as coitus interruptus. First we will see what is abstinence. If you remember the menstrual cycle, the egg is released in the 14th day and the egg will survive for 2 days, assuming for 2 days. And the sperm, it can survive for 3 days. So this abstinence method is practiced based on these two facts. One is the sperm will survive for 3 days and the egg will survive for 2 days. Based on this, the days between 10 to 17, it is considered as a fertile period. It is considered as a fertile period, and the couple, if they don't want to have a child, they should not have coitus between this 10th to 17th day. So this is called as abstinence, that is avoiding the fertile period. The second is lactamino. In this method, we have already studied that if a mother is going to breastfeed the child, then there won't be any ovulation happening. So this can be done for 6 months. So during that period, since there is no ovulation, even if there is going to be coitus, then baby will not be formed. So this is a natural method. The third is withdrawal method or coitus interruptus, where the female will pull the penis out before ejaculation. So natural methods, they are practiced, they are preferred and practiced because the side effects are almost nil. But the only problem is the failure rates are very high. Next, let us see the barrier method. And before entering this method, I would like to say that in the previous method, which is called as the natural method, in the questions appearing in NEET, please observe for the word the chance of avoiding, because natural method avoids the chance of the sperm and egg meeting. So if the question is like chance of avoiding is happening in which of the method, if you see the word chance of avoiding, then it comes under natural method. Now let us see the barrier method. In this barrier method, the sperm is prevented from reaching the ovum. The sperm is prevented from reaching the ovum, and for this, structures like condoms are being used. These are made up of rubber or latex. They prevent the sperm moving into the uterus. That is, the insemination itself is prevented in this method. And condoms are available. And for women, there are different structures like diaphragms, cervical caps, and walls, vaginal walls. So these are the structures available for women, which will be inserted into the vagina. So diaphragm, it covers the cervix. It covers the cervix. It is made up of rubber or plastic, and it prevents the passage of sperm into the uterine part. Similarly, the cervical caps, they also covers the cervix and prevent the entry of the sperm into the uterine. And these walls, they are similar to these cervical caps, but they have a ring on the border which gets fit to the vaginal cervical wall. So it doesn't allow the sperm to enter into the cervix. Next is the chemical method. In the chemical method, some chemicals which have spermicidal activity, they are used. They are used either in the form of tablets, creams, pastes. So they are applied within the female reproductive tract before coitus. And the chemicals used in this manner are lactic acid, citric acid, boric acid, zinc sulfate, potassium permanganate. One of the famous brand is Sponge, which contains a chemical called as non-oxynol. Another one is Delphi. These are two famous brands. They are available in the form of foams. This can be easily used by any person who is not allergic to this, but the only problem is they are less reliable. The next contraceptive is IUDs. IUDs means intrauterine devices. Which means that these devices are inserted into the uterine of the concerned person. So this needs a doctor or a skilled nurse to implant within the uterus. There are many devices. Let us see one by one. The first is the Lippis loop. It is a non-medicated contraceptive. If you see the structure, it is made up of a plastic wire which is having a double edge shape. So this lipish loop will be placed within the uterus. It will be placed within the uterus. And the lifespan of this is, it could be used for from 5 to 12 years. It doesn't have any side effect. How it operates is, it attracts macrophages. It attracts macrophages into the uterine wall. So what happens, these macrophages will help it will engulf the sperm. So that way the sperm is not able to reach the fallopian tube. So the macrophages helps in killing the sperm. So it is not because of the lipish loop the sperms are killed, but because of its action. It attracts the macrophages. So the macrophages will get accumulated here and that will engulf the sperm. So this is one of the safest contraceptive device. So the next one is the famous copper T, and there are different variations available. CUT, CU7, multi-load. These are the varieties available. If you see, it is a T-shaped structure which is made up of copper, and there will be a thread-like structure attached at one terminal. So this also will be placed within the uterus, and it acts as a contraceptive. What it does is, it releases copper ions. These copper ions are spermicide. It will kill the sperm. Moreover, it stimulates the production of prostaglandins. So these prostaglandins, they causes contraction of the smooth muscle. So the sperm will not be able to get attached to the endometrial wall of the uterus. And the third mode of action is, it causes the thickening of the cervical mucus. So the consistency of the cervical mucus, it gets thickened, so the sperm will not be able to swim into it. So this is a very safe contraceptive method, and there are different varieties, and some copper teas they will have little amount of silver added to it, and those varieties will end with the AG, CUAG, something like that. And another important detail about this copper tea is the surface area of the copper tea. This surface area, it affects its efficiency. The more the surface area, the more efficient it is. Because some varieties of this copper teas, they have less surface area. So you can see that Cu 380 mm square. So that mm square represents the surface area. So if the surface area is lesser, the efficiency is lesser.